The desert sun baked the earth into cracked gold as Sheriff Eli Warren rode through the canyons of Arizona Territory. His horse stumbled near a rocky stream, and that's when he saw her. Half-conscious, face down in the water, her long dark hair fanned like ink on stone. Without a thought, Eli jumped off, dragging her from the current. She wasn't just anyone. She wore Apache beads, her skin bronze and sunburned. Her breathing was shallow. He pressed gently on her chest until she coughed and gasped. The sound of life filled the still air, and Eli knew. He'd just changed everything. He carried her to his camp beneath the red cliffs, laying her near the fire. She was young, barely 20, and beautiful in a wild, untamed way. Her wrists were bruised, likely from rope. Bandits, maybe. Eli cleaned her wounds, his calloused hands careful, respectful. When she stirred, her eyes opened, dark, wary, and fierce.
"Who are you?"
she whispered. "Name's Eli," he said. "Sheriff out of Dry Creek, found you near drowned." She studied him like a hawk sizing up prey. "Then I owe you my life," she murmured. He smiled faintly. "Don't owe me a thing, ma'am." For 2 days she stayed in his care, weak but healing. Eli learned her name, Taya. She'd been taken by outlaws raiding her tribe's hunting grounds but escaped during a sandstorm. When she spoke, her voice carried pride and pain. "They wanted gold," she said, "but my people have none." Eli handed her his canteen. "Some men don't need a reason to do wrong." She looked at him curiously. "Why save me, white man?" He met her gaze without flinching. "Didn't see color. Just someone dying." That answer made her eyes soften for the first time. When Taya was strong enough to walk, Eli saddled his horse and said, "I'll take you home." She shook her head. "My people won't welcome you. They remember what your kind did." He nodded. "I'll take my chances." The ride through the canyon was quiet, except for wind and hoofbeats. At sunset, they reached the ridge overlooking her village. Smoke curling from fires, children running near tents. Before they could move closer, a group of Apache warriors appeared from behind the rocks, bows drawn. Eli raised his hand slowly. "Easy, fellas. Just bringing her home." The warriors surrounded them, eyes sharp as knives. One of them, an older man with feathers in his hair, stepped forward. Taya dismounted and spoke rapidly in her language. The elder's expression shifted from suspicion to shock, then calm. He turned to Eli. "You save her?" Eli nodded. "Found her in the river." The man studied him a long time before saying, "Then by our law she belongs to you now." Eli blinked.
"Say what now?"
Taya lowered her head, ashamed. "It is true," she said quietly. "By sacred tradition, a life saved is a life bound." Eli's heart pounded. "Look, I didn't save her to own her." The elder's eyes narrowed. "You cannot refuse. To deny her bond would dishonor her spirit." The warriors murmured agreement. Taya's face was pale, her hands trembling. "If you turn away, I will be shamed," she said softly. "My people will see me as half dead without purpose." Eli took off his hat, rubbing his neck. "Damn," he muttered. "Guess I'm stuck with you then." She looked up sharply. "You say that like it's punishment." He smiled slightly. "No, ma'am. Just didn't plan on having a wife before sundown." The tribe prepared a small ceremony that night, simple but solemn. Taya stood beside him, wrapped in a white deer-hide shawl, her eyes downcast. The elder chanted, speaking words Eli didn't understand but could feel in his bones. A fire crackled between them, sparks rising into the dark sky. When the chanting stopped, Taya placed her hand over Eli's. "Now," she whispered, "our fates are one." He looked at her in the firelight, her beauty fierce, her spirit unbroken, and nodded. "Reckon I can live with that." The tribe cheered softly, though Eli knew life just got complicated. In the days that followed, Eli tried to leave, but Taya always followed. "You belong with me," she said matter-of-factly. He chuckled. "You sure about that?" She nodded. "The spirits chose it." They returned to his cabin near Dry Creek, and she brought with her a quiet calm. She cooked, tended the horses, and watched the sunsets in silence. But she was no ordinary woman. She could track a coyote, mend a wound, and shoot better than most men. The townsfolk stared, some with disgust, some with curiosity. Eli ignored them all. He owed her respect, not apologies. One night, a group of drunken miners rode into town, shouting slurs. "Hey, Sheriff, you marrying savages now?" one yelled, laughter echoing. Eli's jaw tightened. Go home, fellas. They spat at Taya's feet. Before Eli could move, she drew his revolver faster than a snake strike and fired at the ground near their boots. The sound cracked through the street. Next time, she said coldly, I don't miss. The men froze, pale and silent, before stumbling off. Eli stared at her, half in awe. Remind me never to make you mad, she smiled. Smart man. Weeks turned to months. The ranch flourished, the cattle healthy, the land kind. Taya learned English better, and Eli picked up her words in return. At night, she told him stories of her people, how the spirits guided them through the mountains, how love was the same as courage. He listened like a man starving for truth. One evening, under the red glow of sunset, he asked quietly, You ever wish I hadn't pulled you from that river? She smiled sadly. Sometimes I wonder if you saved me or I saved you. He had no answer for that. Trouble came again when a group of bounty hunters arrived in Dry Creek, searching for Apache scalps. Eli tried to warn them off, but greed spoke louder than reason. That night they came to the ranch. The sound of hooves shattered the quiet. Eli grabbed his rifle. Taya took her bow. They fought side by side, flames lighting the horizon. Arrows flew, bullets cracked. When it ended, 3 men lay still in the dirt. Eli collapsed, blood streaking his arm. Taya knelt beside him, whispering words in her tongue. Stay, she pleaded. The spirits are not done with you. He woke days later, bandaged and weak, Taya sitting by his side, her hand in his. You live, she whispered. You stubborn man. He smiled faintly. Couldn't let you handle all the fighting yourself. She laughed softly, relief washing over her face. Outside, the desert was quiet again, peace fragile but real. You know, he said after a moment, I reckon that sacred law of yours wasn't so bad after all. She squeezed his hand. You were chosen, Eli Warren, and now so was I. He kissed her forehead gently. Then we'll face whatever comes, together. By spring, the legend of the Apache sheriff's wife had spread across the territory. Some called it scandal, others called it fate, but Eli and Taya didn't care. They built a life from dust and fire where 2 worlds met and refused to break apart. At sunset, she'd stand on the porch, hair shining in the golden light, humming an old tribal song. Eli would join her, arm around her shoulders, both gazing at the endless desert. The wind carried her words softly. You saved my life, but my heart saved yours. And in that wild, sacred silence, love endured.